Hello, everybody. This is James Williams. I will be presenting case number 38, the Paychex Incorporated case. So I'm just going to get started right now. So, Paychex Incorporated, with a little background, it is the a payroll kind of a payroll resource. Um, It's the leading provider of payroll, human resource, and benefits outsourcing rather solutions for small or medium businesses. Not so much for large businesses. It was founded in 1971 by Thomas. I just say Thomas G because I don't really can't pronounce his last name, so I just call him Thomas G. Its headquarters is in Rochester, New York, has more than 100 offices, and as of May 21st, 2012, it has served about 567,000 payroll clients. As you can see on the slide, its revenue at that time was 2.2 billion. Excuse me. So the CEO and the CFO in 2011 were Martin Mucci, that was the CEO, and the CFO was Efrain Rivera. I think it was important to mention those in the presentation because of the future things that I'm going to say about this case. Rivera was a new CFO coming into Paychex in 2011. And so in the next slide, also they also had a pretty good standing with Wall Street, the community of Wall Street, and they had pretty good records. So they were basically two good people coming into Paychex, into the company. And I believe Mucci is still the CEO today, I believe. So at the time, Paychex was going through its challenges as far as the economy and the investor stock and the value of their shareholders. At that time, the U.S. economy was low, so they was affected by that, and the businesses that were relatively new, they were slowing down, and their growth trajectory did not achieve for the company at that time any longer. And also, I believe the main thing was the price of the company share. It decreased in value. So something had to be done, and done as soon as possible. So the CEO and the CFO, excuse me, Mucci and Rivera, they both came to an agreement that it's time to step up and try to set up the company's investor relation efforts. In this case, it was all about the investor relations. They wanted to be more proactive in communicating new Paychex investment story to the company's existing research analysts and investors of that institutional, and they were optimistic to bring in new analysts and new investor support. So, Investor Day, in this PR case, they had highlighted Investor Day. It was a big payoff. In 2012, the timeline had come up. They announced in 2012, in the beginning of the year, in January, that they was going to do Investor Day, and that will be held in July at headquarters, Rochester, New York. What I do like about this case is that they didn't just do Investor Day and that was it. They actually did an event before the actual Investors Day, and they also did something after Investors Day. So, February 2012. I think I have a typo on there. But in February, the pre-investors day audit, they had done that, and they were able to reach people and interview people over the phone, and they wanted to identify, or I believe survey people that had interest into the Investors Day event. They wanted to see who would be interested in coming to this event, who would be interested in participating in this event. And then March 12th, the management leader, or the project leader, Laura Zaxby Lynch, she had planned the Charting the Future event. And as a result, the charting the future event, coming from that, as a result, expansion came about, for the charter, that particular event. They included dinner with the management team the evening before. They did breakfast in the morning, and then they did lunch in the afternoon, followed by the conclusion of the Investors Day event. Then, as a result of this whole planning, July 18th, there were more than 50 members in attendance at the event. But then also, not only that, there were more than 200 participants via webcast. So they weren't exactly in the presence, but they were there by webcast. And mind you, 2012, there was no Facebook Live, there was no Instagram Live, there was no Periscope. There were, I guess, there were a few live streaming avenues, but the way we do live today wasn't the way it was even 8 years ago. So that was a big part of the event, webcast. And as a result of that, share price stock, it had reached a new 52-week high of trading. And then 2 weeks after the Investors Day, the post Investors Day perception audit. This is the event after the Investors Day. And so they did that in order to gain feedback from the public, relate to the public, to get feedback from those that attended the event in regards to the basically how their impressions of the event, the content and the logistics and the presentations of it all. And so my critical point is that I believe that the PR was necessary because they wanted to persuade and attract new long-term investors. And some of the strategies that I seen in this case was the research, objective, programming, and evaluation. Research, they did the interviews via phone calls for pre-investor day. Objective was to chart the future. That's how the project manager was able to plan that. They came up with charting the future for Paychex. Programming, they did the event, and webcasting. Like I said, over 200 participants came on the webcasting, even though they weren't necessarily at the place in New York. And then evaluation, they did the perception audit, receiving feedback from people. In my opinion, I believe that Paychex did an absolute tremendous job in planning this event, from the pre Investors Day to the actual day of the Investors Day, and then post Investors Day. I think they did a good job with that, and I also believe that the message that they were sending was also clear, and also the technology demonstrations. And then I also believe that the overall attention of this whole detail was executed well. Because this was a short case, that's all I have. So here are the discussion questions, and we'll dig a little deeper into that. Thank you.